Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's section of soft skill. Excited to have you in this section. I would like to hear from you. And so, can you type in the chat box your name and your track, the track that you're in, your name and the track that you're in? Can you keep that coming in? If you're up on the call, can you type in your name and the track you're in? Tonight's section promises to be an exciting and explosive one. It's our coach and our guest for tonight, right here with us. When people can you send in your name and your track so we can celebrate, we can know those who are connected. If you've joined us, can you we're excited tonight. We are going to be gaining insights and wisdom, knowledge that's needed for the workplace, even as much as we've been dealing. Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's section of soft skill, next generation career champions. Welcome to tonight's section. Our guest is more than ready and excited as much as we are to receive our guest tonight. Our guest tonight that will be taking us in tonight's section is none other person but Ismail Goba. He's a seasoned HR professional with diverse background encompassing of over 9 years of experience in HR consulting, talent management, business partnering. His expertise spans various areas, including learning, development, background check, talent acquisitions, and HR business partnering. With a solid foundation In HR consulting, Ismail has demonstrated proficiency in designing and implementing strategic initiatives to support organizational growth and development. His experience in L&D has equipped him with the skill to identify trainings, training needs, develop tailored programs, and facilitate knowledge sharing sessions in soft skill and employability skills. During his tenure as a talent manager at Disco Distribution Company, he played a pivotal role in driving talent acquisition strategies and fostering a culture of excellence. His hands-on experience in talent management provided him valuable insight into the intricacies of identifying, attracting, and retaining top talent in competitive market landscape. Currently serving as a human resource business partner with Wema Bank, Ismail oversees HR operations for the Abuja and North regions, where he leverages his expertise to align HR initiatives with business objectives. To drive organizational effectiveness, employee engagement, and talent development initiatives. Holds a master's degree in international human resource management from the Coventry University, United Kingdom, which has equipped him with global perspective on HR practices and trends. Additionally, he is an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, distributing his commitment to professional excellence and continuous learning in the field of HR management. Passionate about knowledge sharing, capacity building, Ismail actively engaged in initiatives aimed at enhancing soft skills and employability skills amongst professional and aspiring HR practitioners. Is dedicated to empowering individuals with the tools and knowledge they need to succeed in their careers and contribute meaningfully to organizational success. Come on, people, can you give your clapping emoji as we celebrate our guest for tonight? Come on, can you send in your clapping emoji as we celebrate our guest for tonight? Oh, can everyone use on the chat box?
All right. Thank you so much. I can see Janet Olatiti and Happiness. You're welcome to today's session. Thank you so much for that introduction. So when I actually listened to the introduction, I was like, wow, was that me? Wow. So this is how far I've gone. Funny how time flies. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Confirm you can hear me before we commence. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, so when I listened to the introduction, so I actually had to link it to where I work currently, because over the years I've actually seen firsthand how emotional intelligence has actually played a very vital role in team dynamics, leadership effectiveness. So what we do basically as a human resource business partner is to link employees with organizational objectives. We also work with business leaders to see how we can actually drive productivity and also engagement. So this actually synonymous what I do. And then every day, what we do every day, emotional intelligence actually play out. So we guide our employees, being that they are inexperienced. Some of them are actually experienced, while some are actually not exposed. So what we do basically is just to link people with the organizational objective and also ensure that they apply the right emotion. So business partnering is actually different from HR manager. So we do with a lot of relationships, relationship building, collaboration, and all that, which is actually why we're here today. But before we start, I like to ask this question. There's actually a question on the screen. Think about the last time you worked with someone who was really easy to collaborate with. What was it about their attitude or behavior that made the experience smooth and productive? Just maybe one word or something like that, so we can take response from one or two persons before we commence. Janet, I can still see you. Happiness. Can we get a response? So this question is actually on a positive light. So to make the learning very fun. So can we get a response? Oh, empathy. So Hamilton mentioned empathy. Thank you so much. Empathy is actually very key in emotional intelligence. We can take two more before we commence the training proper. Um, Janet, do you want to say something? Happiness, do you want to say something? All right. We don't have response. Only few persons responded. Okay, that's fine. We can you project the slide? We don't have much. We don't seem to have much response. Thank you so much, everybody. All right. So the topic is how to build emotional intelligence for workplace productivity. So that was the topic. Yeah. So building work emotional intelligence for workplace productivity. So emotional intelligence and productivity actually play a very vital role. They work hand in hand. So if you are not emotionally stable, you will not be productive. That's the reality of the day. So the what we're trying to learn today is how to be very productive without having less distraction. So emotion has to be actually have to be play a vital role in terms of whether we're going to be productive or not. Either negative emotion draws back or positive emotion make us to be more productive. So what are we going to learn today? So today we're going to understand what emotional intelligence is and why it matters at all in the workplace. So we're also going to identify core components of emotional intelligence. Want to explore a real life workplace example for better learning, and also going to recognize how emotional intelligence enhance productivity and collaboration. Then lastly, we're going to learn some practical steps to build emotional intelligence personally and as a team. Oh, Lucia Gabriel. All right, I can see you. You're welcome, Lucia Gabriel. All right, next slide. So, emotional intelligence is actually the ability for to recognize and understand and manage your own emotion as well as that of others. So basically, it's very simple. Some people actually act without knowing the kind of person they are, without knowing their intent, without knowing what they are made of. So emotional intelligence will enable you to really understand your own emotion. So it's not you are not emotionally intelligent if you don't understand. You cannot actually label your emotion. You cannot label your triggers. So emotional intelligence is all about understanding your emotion and that of others. Why do you need to understand your emotion and that of others is very key because you are dealing with people in an organization. So we have people with different personalities, different religion, different cultures, different gender orientation and all that. So for you to be able to work with team, right, you need emotional intelligence to be able to work with people. So it is very, very important that we understand our emotions and that of others because you know sometimes we react to things emotionally rather than paying attention to what we are supposed to communicate better. So what it does, what emotional intelligence does is that I understand my trigger, what gets me angry. Like for me, I will consider myself as someone who doesn't like people yelling at. So if you yell at me, I get so destabilized. That was before, that was years back before I started, studying that emotional intelligence. But some people will react immediately, while others will also sit down, pause, and see what they can do to actually watch their words to see how they can actually be intelligent about their emotion. So, emotional intelligence is how you are intelligent about your emotion in such a way that you will not appear aggressive, you will also not be appeared rudely. So, let's take a real life example. So, for example, a customer service agent recognizing that they are getting frustrated. So, the key word here is a customer service. Customer service is someone that attends to customer and solve customer problem. So for you to solve customer problem, you need to be in the right state of mind. So if you're emotional and you feel like you're going to have an outburst, what happened? You're going to step away briefly and return calm and composed to serve. Because, if you're not in a stable emotional, if you're not stable emotionally, there's no way you can actually be able to communicate effectively. So when you are beginning to realize that you are, emotion is setting in gradually, what you need to do is to actually to step to pause. When you are angry, remember there's a saying that when you are angry, you don't send a mail. Remember, there's this saying, because they know that if you are angry, you'll be able to say whatever your mind tells you based on your emotion. But if you are emotionally intelligent, you pause and still pick the right word to say in such a way that the person's emotion is not affected. So imagine this customer service person decided to now speak to customer out of frustration. What happens? Customer will not be happy with the service. He might end up not coming back, and the company will be losing a lot. So remember, it's not all about customer today. It's about you. So, what is our focus today? Today, we're going to learn how to build emotional intelligence for workplace productivity. So, it's about you in person, right? Not customer. Whatever you do today is going to impact on whether customer is going to be happy or not. All right, next slide. So, we're going to consider the five components of emotional intelligence. So, emotional intelligence have five components. For you to be what emotionally intelligent, you must be what self-aware. Self-aware means that you understand your emotion, you know your triggers. You can say that, okay, when people yell at me, I get upset or I get destabilized. That's self-awareness. When under pressure, I tend not to be able to speak. I tend not to be able to communicate the right manner. So that's self-awareness. So that will make up what? Emotional intelligence. So for you to be emotional intelligent, you need also self-regulation. Very important. There is no emotional intelligence without what? Self-regulation. We did a lot. We have different strategies for what? Self-regulation. So for you to be able to be intelligent emotionally, you have to be able to regulate yourself. How does regulation comes in? Regulation is that people are actually pissing you off. You know that people are pissing you off. And when you are angry, there's a way your mind is actually diverted automatically to that anger. So that diversion is actually beginning to, build some kind of, negativity to say, I'm going to express myself the way I feel. So, but because we work in an organization where we want to be productive and we want to maintain good relationship, we also want to be promoted. We don't want to be seen, expressing a very negative, emotion. So what you need is actually self-regulation. How do you regulate yourself? So when it comes to, for example, if I'm actually under pressure, I have a lot of mails to respond to, or I have people that are actually reaching out for me for one solution or the other, being that in a day, I can attend to say 20 employees reaching out to me for one thing or the other. So what I do is before I respond to email, right? I take a pause. If I'm feeling funny, I know that I'm actually stressed out. So what I did, I just take a pause, right? I take a pause and sit down and tell myself that, look, you are overwhelmed with work. However, these people are also very, very important to this organization. We need to also ensure that they are doing well. If I don't respond to them, it will affect their productivity. So I take a pause. Then there's another strategy I use. There is a waterfall jazz. It's not jazz basically, but just waterfall, like a music. There's no voice. It's just water, dropping, like a fountain. So you're just hearing the sound of water, sound of nature, birds chirping. So what I do basically is just to play in the background. I work alone, so I don't really, play it where there are people. So just to kind of, so what I do is just to play in the background. The moment I play it, I become very calm. So no matter how you yell, no matter what you say, I don't pay attention to that. It actually calms it down. Some people will keep quiet, not to say a word, while some people will pay attention to the job. So self-regulation has different strategies. So it depends on what works for you. So there's also this aspect of motivation, that's staying driven to meet goals despite the challenges. So it takes motivation to say that I'm not emotionally stable, but yet I'm going to make sure that I communicate or I express myself in the right emotion. It takes motivation. Some people cannot control it. Some people will tell you that if I don't say it, I need to let it out. I need to pour my anger. There are those kind of employees. They will tell you that if I don't pour my anger, no, I'm not okay. So some people will know, they'll ignore that to say, oh, regardless of what this person say, I am also going to remain what? Stable, emotionally stable. I'm going to express myself in a very assertive manner without being rude. So there's also the aspect of what? Empathy. For you to be emotionally intelligent, you need to be what? Empathy, because empathy connects you with people. It connects you with people easily when you empathize. Sometimes when you mirror what somebody is going through, you easily connect with that person. For example, when a customer walk into an organization and you piss him off, the customer is not happy with you. So it's easier for the third party that come to say, good afternoon, sir, what's the problem? The customer tend to listen to the neutral person that are working, other than, because you actually, the person actually tend to give the person, listening ear. So empathy will connect you with people faster than not being empathy. So you expect empathy, you mirror what the person is going through, then you now show the person. So there's no empathy if you don't show it. So some people express empathy by listening and also nodding their head to show that they understand the person, while some people also reply by saying, I understand what you're going through. They even explain what the person is going through. So you see the person actually come, try to connect with you and communicate better. So if you don't show empathy, there's no empathy. It's easier to say empathy, but it's another thing what to show empathy. So there's also the outside of what? Social skills. Social skills. So that means building and what? Maintaining a healthy relationship. There are relationships that are being forced. There are relationships that are being built. So there's mistake that people make when they walk into an organization or they find themselves within a team. They feel that people must love them at instant. No. Relationship is not being forced. Relationship is built. And one of the easiest way you can build relationship is by respect, showing respect. Respect people. All right. So that takes us to what? Why emotional intelligence matters in today's workplace. So today's workplace, emotional intelligence is very, very important. Without emotional intelligence, people will not succeed on the job. If you come in with let's say you have a particular, trigger in the sense that you cannot withstand pressure, and you find yourself in an organization where, you meet several deadlines, there are several tasks coming from different people. You have your line manager, you have employees demanding, and you cannot. So If you don't have emotional intelligence, you will not be able to succeed in an organization. So I like to pause to actually check in with our audience to confirm if they're actually following us, if we are fast, I'm too fast, if they're understanding, if there's anything that we need to also so confirm in the chat box if you are following what we are saying so far. Lucia, I've seen your comments. Empathy connects you with people to people. Happiness said there's no empathy if you don't show it. Thank you so much. Janet, fantastic. There are some empathy you show, but those customers will say that you don't understand what I'm going through. That's if there's no solution to their problem. All right, fantastic. This is also another one. So the thing is that when a customer is frustrated, it's not all about you. Know that it's not all about you. They have their own frustration. It's about something that is not working well for them. Do you understand? And this is where empathy comes in. So when a customer is angry with you, ideally, because we're in a service industry, you pause, take a pause, right? Allow him to vent. When he vents, you apologize, show him understand what he's going through, and also assure him that you're going to provide a solution. We understand that customers can be very funny, but remember, these people pay our salaries. They pay our salaries. So we also need to devise any means to stay motivated. So you need motivation to say this person is not willing to listen to you and you really want to serve that person. So what I tell myself or what I tell people is that when a customer is frustrated, it's really not about you. It's not about you at all. Janet, thank you so much for your response. I've seen. Goswell, self-awareness is understanding your emotion and its impact. Fantastic. When you understand your emotion, its impact, if you don't know the impact, right? That is the process of being intelligent, emotionally intelligent. If I say this, what's the impact? How will it impact on our communication and our relationship as well? Thank you so much for that. So AI predict performance. AI predict performance better than IQ in many roles. That is the truth. There's a saying that said IQ, right, can get you the job, but EQ or emotional intelligence can get you promoted. So IQ is just the normal skills, your ability to remember things, your, those analytical skills and everything. Why emotional intelligence, your ability to regulate your emotion and your ability to work with others well. Do you understand? So if you feel most organizations actually go for IQ, they hardly go for IQ. They look at the attitude. Attitude is everything. Do you understand? So if you think you have IQ, we already have what? Artificial intelligence. Thank you so much, Hamilton. I'm really enjoying this, summary. IQ can get you the job. EQ will get you promoted. Because if you have IQ, you'll be isolated. Some people that have IQ, they are so carried away with their IQ and very intelligent. So what it means that you are intelligent, but you'll be so isolated because all you know is your intelligence. You're only carried away with your intelligence. You're not interested in building relationship. EQ, that's emotional quotient or emotional intelligence, will enable you to maintain relationship. If you feel you are intelligent, what happens? We have artificial intelligence that can replace you easily. But people that work with artificial intelligence also need to relate well with people to be able to work with artificial intelligence. So people have this notion that AI will take over jobs. No. AI will only take over your job if you don't know how to use it. So if you look at the trending skills over the years, for the past 5 years, EQ or attitude has actually been leading. And I believe you mean the next trending skill projection for next year will likely, emotional intelligence will actually come out maybe first or second. EQ is everything, it's order of the day. So Emotional intelligence is essential for teamwork, leadership, communication, and adaptability. So without emotional intelligence, you can't, function in a team, because team comprises of people with different what background, people from different background, different religion, different cultural, different culture. So for you to be able to work successfully in a team, emotional intelligence what is required, because somebody will come from the north, another person will come from the south. What they believe or how they communicate in Edo, what they see respect is different from how someone from the north sees respect. The same thing with someone from the west sees respect. So emotional intelligence will make you broaden your perspective to say, can I even work well with this person and even see what he sees respect as, or what he sees, even tap from the idea. So another thing is that as workplace becomes more what diverse and hybrid, emotional intelligence foster inclusivity and what emotional safety. Yes, there is no emotional intelligence without what inclusivity. That's the honest truth. You cannot be emotionally intelligent. It will not be more effective if you are not impacting another person or you are not relating with another person. So because people are becoming more diverse, that's what I explained earlier. We have a Yoruba, we have a Hausa, we have Igbo, we have Igala, we have Idoma, we have Edo. You understand? Coming in together. That is what is refers to what diverse. So sometimes, if you don't have emotional intelligence, you won't be able to work with these people. So if you're a fresher, right, like for maybe an entry level roles, what is actually advised is that you respect individual differences. For you to be able to work with people, respect their individual differences. So my early careers, I used to struggle. So the struggle was that people was like, oh, what's your name? I said, my name is Gopi Ismail. Gopi Ismail. You're an Abokio. You understand? So I've had that in two different, organizations, and it got to a time that I got used to it. I came to time like, okay, if actually people feel, okay, this is how they label you, can you also prove to them that you are not that kind of person? Do you understand? By not getting angry, by focusing on the goal, by focusing on the communication. Fantastic. Joy Bosa, IQ plus EQ is equal to high HI. Well, that should be like high emotional intelligence. There's from Hamilton, there's no emotional intelligence without okay, sorry, that's actually a summary. All right. So respect is actually very, very important. For inclusivity to work out, for you to be inclusive, you must be able to respect individual differences. So let's look at a real life example. A project lead in navigating cultural differences in a virtual cross-border team by showing empathy and patience. Yes, you understand? So, emotional intelligence can come up in every nook and cranny of your relationship or dealings every day. You understand? So now, because you are dealing with multicultural differences, what happened? You need what? You need to show empathy and patience. Patience in the sense that you have your value, they all have their own values. How do you navigate? How do you now synchronize all these people to work together to also understand your objective and organizational objective? So that's where patience actually plays a vital role. I'm actually I'm actually also another advocate of being patient, because I feedback 3 months ago 3 months ago, and the person mentioned that I've tried as much as possible to get your trigger. I couldn't find it. What do you do? How do you do it? Are you pretending? I say no, because I understand whatever you tell me, I understand where you are heading to. So it takes patience to work with people. Don't go and be frustrated because things are not working with different team members and you feel that's all. No, you need to be patient. If you are patient, you guys will work collaboratively and also understand one another. Next slide, please. All right, Joy Boza, IQ minus EQ. Wow, is equal to what? AI, right? Why IQ plus EQ is equal to what? High HI. Thank you so much. So we're trying to thank you, Abu David. So someone actually say, what is HI? Human intelligence. I mean, fantastic. Thank you so much. So we're trying to connect with our with the comment section. All right. So what I'd say, we actually mentioned about emotional intelligence. What is the benefit of emotional intelligence at work? Remember, we are actually doing it for workplace, for we to be what? Productive. You can only be productive when you are able to work with different teams. You have so many people to work with. You have your line manager to work with. If you are a line manager, you also have a line manager and you have a direct report. Do you understand? So what we always advise, say, okay, let's manage each other. Do you understand? So because you want to be productive, you are trying to minimize those distractions. Negative emotion is actually a distraction to an emotionally intelligent people for in every workplace. Negative emotion. So you are trying to stay motivation to see how you can work well with people. You've been productive. If you are productive, it's to your own good, right? If you are productive, what is for your own good? You get promoted, you'll be able to add value, right? You'll be able to, communicate effectively. So, what are the benefits? I'm going to take this very briefly. Emotional intelligence, benefit of emotional intelligence in workplace is actually better decision making under pressure. So, if you're under pressure, you'll be able to what? To pause, to say, hey, number one, you should be able to even label, to say, I am currently under pressure. Let me pause. Let me pause. If I pause, let me be able to regulate. Let me be able to, maybe to control myself. It's like I'm feeling headache. I have a headache, right? I know that I cannot be productive. I'll take a pause. If I have paracetamol, I take paracetamol, right? And take maybe 10-minute break. Sometimes we apply what is called Pomodoro effect. When you're walking, you take a few minutes, take a walk, and come back so that you can actually, get your focus back. So you tend to make better decision under pressure. If you're on some people under pressure, you can see outbursts. I've worked with a lot of people. They're under pressure. You see outbursts from one from nowhere. Leave me alone. Can't you see that I'm busy? I'm busy. You see people telling, no, I can't attend to you now. So, but if you are what? Emotionally intelligent, the first thing that actually make you emotionally intelligent, you say, this person has a need. Let me pause what I'm doing. Or let me tell the person that what I'm doing right now is actually very pressing. Can I attend to it later? Is it urgent? If it's urgent, I will not think about, can I spend 1 minute to this person, attend to him, or even listen to him, jot it down and tell him that I'll get back to him. Instead of what? Being reactive. So, emotional intelligence will lead to what? Increased resilience. You become more resilient. So, emotional resilience is about what? If you are angry, your ability to what? Come back to your normal state of emotion to say, I'm going to continue, is what? Emotional resilience. It's not everybody that has that. You see somebody getting angry, once you are pissed off, and that's all for the day. Some people will get out of the seat and they will never come back again. Some people, you keep begging them, I apologize. They will keep, complaining. That's not emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is your ability to quickly adjust to say, I'm coming back to my state, to a positive emotion, and I don't want to express a negative emotion. So if you're emotionally intelligent, it should what? Enable you to what? Have resilience and able to manage stress. It also improves communication and fewer what? Conflict, because you use the right emotion to express yourself. When somebody says something nasty to you, right? Some people would rather say, are you saying that to get me angry? Or are you trying to be nasty? I hope not. So how are you doing? How was work today? That's emotional resilience. But some people say, are you talking to me? Do you know who I am? You're already wasting your time putting yourself in a very negative emotion. So some people will choose the right word. If you're emotionally intelligent, you will tend to have what? An improved communication. You communicate better. It also enhances leadership and what? Collaboration. So leaders, sometimes I give kudos to leaders. Leadership is not easy. Leadership comes with a lot of burden. Yes, there's high expectation on leaders to deliver. They also have teams that they are not meeting up to expectation. So, if a leader is emotionally intelligent, I have my current line manager, right? He has a way of dealing with the various team members according to the way they behave, so he doesn't pick offense. If you're a slow person, he'll deal with you as slow as you are, but he gives you feedback to see if you're going to improve. So it makes us understand that whatever I'm telling you is for your own good. It's not all about me. I'm already a line manager, but your team, your success will also add to my own success. It will depend. You understand? So he's able to communicate. So whenever he actually expresses displeasure, you find out that we are not angry. You see us working in a very normal emotion. So emotional intelligence also, enhance that leadership and collaboration. So let's look at the real life example. An emotionally intelligent employee de-escalates and what? A heated team meeting, resulting to what? Constructive what? Dialogue. Fantastic. De-escalation, meaning that we have an issue right now, but I don't want it to escalate to the extent that we will start dragging each other. So what I would do is what? To ensure that we are, oh, what's the issue? Oh, this is your idea. Do you think it's going to work well? It's going to go. You think so? But this is what I feel. Can we do it this way? If we do it this way, this is what's going to happen. This will be the end result. So you see that we are now communicating better. Do you understand? So there won't be need for us to escalate. Escalation will actually slow down a lot of things. There won't be productivity when there's escalation. What it means that if there's escalation, a lot of things have to pause. Your work will pause because energy will now be channeled towards something else, resolving issue, rather than resolving issue on the spot. That's what the escalation actually does to you. So those are the ways you can be emotionally intelligent. So now, if you're sorry, before we proceed, Bright, okay, all right. Show empathy and patience. Thank you so much, Vincent. It takes patience to work with people. Thank you so much, Vincent. Grace, I really appreciate that. It takes patience to work with people. If you don't have patience, you won't go far. So there's also something I want to share. Although we have a subsequent slide that speaks to that. Patience is everything. If you are patient, right, the benefit is actually not now, is in the long run. If you are patient, you guys will sit down and laugh over things that you ought to have reacted negatively. So patience is actually key. So if you don't have emotional intelligence, if you have low emotional intelligence in workplace, what happens? You have what? Increased conflict and workplace tension. There will be tension everywhere because there is no dialogue. I don't agree with you, you don't agree with me. I'm angry with you and I'm not ready to listen to you. There will be what? An increased conflict. There will be poor employee engagement and morale. Morale will be very low because the world is already, the economy, we know the state of economy, we know the way things are going. And not to talk of some people, whoever you come across, they have some, inner battles that you don't know about. We don't know about. Very important. That is one thing I tell myself every day before I leave. I promise myself I'm not going to judge anybody today. I'm going to, give that listening ear to understand people before I actually express how I feel, or I give my own feedback, or I communicate to that person. So if you don't have emotional intelligence, there will be poor engagement. You won't be able to engage properly, and morale will be low because things are not working the way you want it to be. There's also what decreased productivity and higher turnover. If you are not what emotionally intelligent, you cannot be productive. You understand? What you're supposed to do within an hour, it will take you 5 hours to do because you are not emotionally stable. You are angry every little time. You understand? You don't understand people before you communicate. Whatever your mind tells you is what you say. Like I earlier said, some people say, I'll say it the way it is. That's how I am. Straight. I'll keep it straight. So let's look at a real life example. A manager lacking empathy regularly what? Dismiss team input. We have a lot of people. We work with one or two persons that whatever you share, right? Whatever you share as a team member, they debunk it immediately as a manager. So even though your team members respect you, they know they're above them, they feel that dissatisfaction will set in, but they will not tell you. So it will affect what? Productivity. It will affect what? Productivity. I used to have a line manager, Mr. Emeka Ufondu, right? He's very smart. He has those leadership skills and everything. And sometimes we give input that are not up to his expectation. He will still appreciate you for your input and also break down your input. Then he will now tell you why your input will not work and also give you his own idea. But another thing is that if you're emotionally intelligent, you accept his input. You also affect the fact that your input is not really strong enough to add value. And that was how I worked with Mr. Emeka till I left. We maintained a very good relationship. So, when people, give an input as a line manager, if you're a line manager, please pay attention to whatever input, no matter how, even if it doesn't add value, even if it doesn't make sense to you, appreciate them first. Let them feel that you appreciate their passion to contribute, to add value. There are some smart line managers that jot down input, employee input. He writes it down and review. So what he does is that even if that input is not going to be effective, going to add value, he keeps it and review. So, but what he does, the smart thing he does is that whenever he's revisiting your input, he lets you know that, remember the day you told me about this, we're going to use it, we're going to adapt, we're going to apply this. So you see that people morale becomes what? High. That, because in everything we do as line manager, it has what? Psychological implication. It's either the person comes back with a negative, attitude or positive. So we need to learn how to what? Manage our direct report input. Next slide, please. All right. So we're going to look at what are the attitudes of emotionally intelligent employees. You understand? What are their attitudes? Okay, we all know what emotional intelligence is. But before we take let me look at the comment section. Adanna, okay. You build relationship by respecting people. Thank you so much. Emotional, Vincent Green. Emotional resilience is ability to adjust and get back to work. Thank you so much, Vincent and Adanna. You guys have made a very valid contribution here. Emotional resilience is the ability to adjust and get back to work, not to leave work, get back to work. And respect. Another way to penetrate people, another way to build a strong relationship is what? By respect. So let's look at how emotionally intelligent employees behave. What are their traits? What do they do? Do you understand? So when we take this, please just make sure that you apply it in your workplace. If you're a newbie, right, ensure that you apply this attitude in your daily. So if you're also currently not working and you're not having a very good relationship with your employee, your team members, to ensure that you apply this attitude. Number one, they are open to feedback and continuous learning. They are open to feedback. So an emotionally intelligent person, right, or employee is open to feedback. So when I was in consulting, we were forced to learn that feedback, we see feedback as developmental, right? Not negative. So I've come across a lot of people that see feedback as what? Hatred. He doesn't like me. He doesn't like me. Look at what he's saying. So whenever we are being told, people see feedback as what? As hatred. So generally, feedback, see feedback, be open to feedback, and see feedback as what? A continuous learning. No matter how you yell. So now as HR business partner, people give me feedback in a different form. Some people yell in giving me feedback, express their their frustration. So what I do, I pay attention to the message. I pay the attention to the message they are being passed, they're passing across, not how they're expressing it. No, my system is not working. This and that. No, I just pause. When they are done, I show them how I also assure them that I'm going to do it. So be open to what? Feedback. Feedback will make you grow. Mostly for someone that is more experienced than you. One thing about feedback, about emotional intelligence, is that there are things you know about yourself that others don't know. There are things that you don't know about yourself, but others know. That is where feedback comes in. So when people are giving you feedback, see it as something like your blind spot, something that you don't know, but someone knows, and they are telling you. So see feedback in that manner. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I see feedback as hatred. Feedback will make you grow. So also handling criticism constructively. When someone criticizes you, pay attention to what the message. Pay attention. Broaden your perspective to say, oh, this person actually criticized me in this manner. Oh, so how do you now see the message that the person passed across? So some people will also see criticism like, oh, this person is because the person doesn't like me. Remember, when people consistently criticize you, there's a message, the silent message they're trying to pass across. And remember, when these criticism are coming, once you assure the person that this criticism is taken and you're going to work on it, honestly, you are building another strong relationship with that person. You're building a strong relationship with that person. There's another aspect of what empathize with colleagues challenge. When an employee is going through what challenge, you empathize with them. Some people will say, sorry, no. Empathy. When you are used to an employee's behavior or disposition and you notice changes, you ask the person, this is not you. I hope all is well. You don't need to know what is wrong with them. If they want to tell you, you will. But for the fact that you're able to note that that person is actually not in the right mood, is another empathy. It's even more empathetic when you now profile solution. But do not force empathy. If the person is not interested, please just show your understanding and walk away. But if the person is willing to share, empathize and ensure that that person truly understood, and also help the person understand the situation better. Emotionally intelligent people build strong and professional relationship. So remember, we are talking about workplace, not outside. So professional relationship, these are the people that give us feedback, people that share knowledge with us. You understand? They'll tell you that, oh, this is something, they have something that you've never learned. You appreciate them for that message. You also ask more questions, you learn, and you're building relationship, professional relationship. You know that you guys are gaining. What is that relationship? Is knowledge. Sometimes you even gain from that professional relationship on how to manage your emotion. Sometimes you don't need a HR person to help you manage relationship. Sometimes you don't need to go for emotional intelligence training. Sometimes your colleague, by looking at how your colleague actually, respond to situation, you can also learn emotional how to build relationship emotional intelligence. So let's look at a real life example. An employee who check in on a stressed colleague, offering support without what? Judgment. The key word here, support and what? Without judgment. Sometimes we judge people. When you judge people, you tarnish the relationship. I've come across a lot of colleagues that open up, I'm gay, I'm this and that. You understand? And we continue working. And there's a way you can judge person with your body language. Do you understand? Somebody tells you something like you're already irritated. Do you understand? So there won't be what positive relationship, and you're not also expressing the right emotion. You're just feeling disgusted. No, do not judge people. When they share something with you, do not judge them. Be after their well-being, be after them building a positive what emotion. With the information you have and you can actually build what a strong relationship. Next slide, please. All right. So the next slide is actually for entry level employees. Entry level employees. For entry level employees that want to join an organization, so there's what we call the first 90 days. Do you understand? At work. First 90 days at work. Some people, once you join a new organization, your first 90 days will determine whether you're going to be successful or you're going to build a very strong relationship or not. Because most of the things that happen within the first 90 days, right, might be very, very artificial. So when you resume in a new organization, some people may appear to be not friendly, not too friendly. Some people will be friendly. Some people will try to control you. They say this one is a newbie. They want to create an impression that does not really exist. Do you understand? So they want to show you something. They want to prove something. Do you understand? So what happened is that you master your first 90 days. So here is what you can do in your first 90 days in terms of what building emotional intelligence. So within the first 30 days, right? That is the stage where self-awareness and observation comes in. Self-awareness. So a lot of people do a lot of preparation before they join organization. They research about the organization, the culture, right? The culture, the line manager. A lot of people do that. But very few people also sit down to research about themselves, self-awareness, self-assessment. That okay, I'm going in this organization. That I'm used to. So the first 90 days, all right. So first 90 days is what? For self-assessment, self-awareness. The slide is down. All right, let me take this comment. Lucia Gabriel, support without judgment. This actually keeps me, this is me. This keeps me going every day. I don't judge people for what they are going through. Professional relationship. Thank you, Austin Miracle. So in the first 30 days, you are expected to reflect daily, track your emotions, emotional response to new situations. Sorry, track your emotion because you already have an understanding of the organization. What is also very important is you, that particular moment, how you perceive. Some people will go to an organization and they see people making noise. They'll say, I don't like this organization. I'm leaving this organization. I'm going to resign. No, sit down. First 30 days, observe, identify your trigger. Notice what actually, causes trigger and frustration. Do you understand? Very important. What are your triggers? Then observe the culture of the organization. Don't be too hesitant. to judge, to say this is the culture. Observe the culture. Some cultures are not easily, it's not a one day thing. You need to pay attention. There are people that will not show you their true self until after maybe a year or 90 days. So that's why you need patience to observe the culture. So once you join in, you observe. There's a culture they tell you before you join the organization. There's also a culture when you join the organization. So you need to be patient to what? To observe. So you see, when you have this understanding on the first 30 days, what happened? You are going there calm. You are not tensed. You don't have any pressure. Do you understand? All right. So from day 31 to 60, that's where self-regulation and empathy comes in. That's why you begin to manage reactions. So people will come, they will say a lot of things. So you need to practice pausing before you respond to whoever communicates with you. Because I told you the first 90 days, things are not actually very real. You understand? Some people are very nice, but they appear to be rude just to see how you're going to react. So sometimes employees might want to test you because they want to read you. They want to be able to read you as well. So you need to manage how you react. Then you adapt to feedback. Whatever feedback you get at that particular, if they say you're very quiet, say thank you so much, I'll work on it. Nobody is going to see a negative relation. Show empathy, listen actively, listen to people. Next slide, please. All right, so from 61 to 90 days, that's the third month, right? That's where motivation and social skills come. So that's where you set your personal goal, you align your effort to with the team and the company objective. You now have an understanding. You have an understanding of the organization. Now you are motivating yourself to remain in the organization, to also work with people within the organization, your team members, align with the organizational objective. Then you now begin to build relationships, engage with people. You already sat down, you observe the people, the culture, the way they behave, right? You now begin to build relationship. That's when you now know how to build relationship. You can even build relationship. If you're emotionally intelligent, you can build relation with many. You can build relationship with many. So you also resolve conflict calmly. Remember, as you resume, you are creating an impression too. You are forming an identity. You are forming an identity. So you don't want to be perceived as a negative person. So you resolve conflict calmly. Emotionally intelligent people resolve conflict. People that lack emotional intelligence, they trigger conflict. So take note. If you are a new entrant, ensure that you are not involved in any conflict. Whatever does not concern you, do not, kind of interfere. So let's look at some tips. Keep a weekly emotional intelligence journal to track progress. Whatever you are feeling at that particular moment, jot it down. Someone says something to me, and this is how I feel. You jot it down. You can go and Google. When someone says this to you, what do you need to do at that particular moment? Or if you are reading, emotional intelligence book by Daniel Goleman, and you should be able to, understand or interpret what it means. So this structure, approach helps with new employee to build credibility, trust, and influence early in their career. So this actually for the new entrants. If you are actually entering in an organization, regardless of your level, Next slide, please. All right. So the role of emotional intelligence in future of work. Remember, initially we talked about. I mentioned, the future of emotional intelligence, the trending skills, right? So trending skills, emotional intelligence or attitude always comes in because even with the advent of technology, you still need people to operate technology. Do you understand? And there's no way in an organization, a big organization, you have one technology. You have people that operate different technology. So we also need to be able to collaborate with these people. So emotional intelligence is very, very vital in every organization. So let's look at the future of a role of AI in the future of work. So they say there's a growth in importance of soft skill. So soft skill is actually what? Professional skills. Is regarded as what? Professional skills. How you communicate, how you express yourself, how you're able to manage meeting, how you're able to manage what? Client and all that. These are what? Professional skills. There's also critical for what? It is also this critical for remote and hybrid team dynamics. So, obviously, for remote jobs, right? Um, you work with different people from different location. Some people might give you audience during remote during your virtual meeting, right? Some people may not have stable network. Some people may communicate differently. Do you understand? So you need emotional because of the growth in that hybrid work. Emotional intelligence is actually required. There's actually help in what? Adapting a rapid change and uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty will come up. Some we know, some research has been done, and we know what the future is going to hold already. And some we don't know how it's going to unfold. So AI is actually very, very important. So let's look at a real life example. An employee uses AI to manage emotions during layoff, supporting team members with what? Compassion. That's what the empathy aspect. So Peter, Gloria, okay. Okay, sorry. All right, next slide, please. I was trying to get all right. Now, for people that are already working, middle level, right? People that are already working, and for even the new entrant, right? We're going to assess how line managers see emotional intelligence. Usually, line manager they observe interpersonal interaction and conflict management in every employee. Know that if you have a line manager is going to observe you based on your interaction. If people are always expressing negative emotion when you communicate with them, meaning that you are not emotionally intelligent or you don't know how to express yourself. And sometimes they will look at how you manage conflicts. Very important. You see people will resume and they will also sit on the fence. They are not doing anything. They will just be looking at you, but they know that you are not managing any conflict or you are not interacting properly. So they also observe how you respond to stress and pressure. Sometimes they give you pressure. They understand. Line managers understand that there is work pressure. Do you understand? They want to see how resilient you are. They want to see how resilient you are. So they begin to assess your emotional intelligence. There's also the ability to receive and apply feedback. Sometimes they'll be giving you feedback, but sometimes line managers they are under pressure sometimes to deliver. They just say something that may sound very rude or very unpleasant. So it depends on how you are able to assess the situation. So when they give you feedback, they want to see how you are able to apply the feedback. If they give you feedback and they are not seeing it on the job, they know that you are not really emotionally intelligent. There's also how you contribute to the team dynamics is another way they actually assess you. Next slide, please. All right. So we're going to explain briefly the how the components of emotional intelligence. So we remember we mentioned that building self-awareness is part of what component of emotional intelligence. So number one, if you are doing your self-awareness process, one of the techniques that you journal, right? Then there's mindfulness, 360-degree feedback. You get feedback from different persons. Journaling, you write down how you feel, the kind of feedback you get from people. You understand? All right. Adana, thank you for your contribution. Emotional intelligence dissolve conflict while lack of emotional intelligence triggers them. Thank you so much. So there's also you recognize emotional triggers and patterns. Understand what triggers you. You understand? So in your journaling, you can even write your trigger. You understand? When you write your trigger, sometimes feedback you get from people will also help you what? Build your self-awareness. Next slide. Self-regulation, another what component of emotional intelligence. That's you now regulating yourself to maintain a positive emotional intelligence. So you are advised to stay calm under pressure, right? Whenever there is pressure, stay calm. But it takes motivation to stay calm under pressure. Remember, we mentioned earlier in our previous slide, you need to what? Motivation to stay calm under pressure. Avoid what? Emotional outbursts. Never ever say it will tarnish your, it will actually debrand you. I don't want to use the first word I intended to use, but it will debrand you. Remember that the moment you resume in any work, you have automatically become a brand. So the good work you do, how productive you are, people will remember, they will put a tag to what you do. If you're hardworking, they will say hardworking Peter Gloria. If you are smart, they will say smart Lucia Gabriel. If you are lazy, they will say lazy Austin Miracle. Sorry, I don't mean that you are lazy, Austin. I don't know how Austin is feeling right now. All right. So you also practice what? Empathy. Practice impulse control. So you don't have to what? It won't lead to outbursts. Next slide, please. All right. So there's also the motivation aspect, right? And how to drive motivation in emotional intelligence. So in the workplace, right? You need to show what? Passion for the work itself. So when you are passionate about yourself, remember I told you I'm very passionate about my job as a HR business partner. You understand there are a lot of challenges, but because I'm passionate, I no longer see them as a challenge. Whenever they come, I'm always happy to provide support. I'm always happy to provide support. So stay motivated. For you to be motivated, you need to what? Be passionate about your job. So when you are passionate about your job, you don't see anything to be challenging at all. Nothing becomes challenging to you. So you just do your work and all that. So you need resilience, staying what? Focused and positive despite what? Setback. So if you are not motivated, you will not be what? Resilient. Resilient is what? Taking yourself back to your normal state, remaining calm. You understand? A lot of things are going wrong, but you remain what? Calm. So if you are walking and things are going bad, right? What happened? If you are resilient, you'll be able to adjust yourself quickly and focus on solution. That is emotional intelligence. If nobody is seeing, your line manager is seeing. If he's not seeing, your result will speak. So there's also the initiative, going beyond what? Using your what? Going beyond your assigned task. You use your initiative. This is the norm. This is what I do. This is what my job description. What can I do outside my job description? That is to show that you are motivated. There's also goal orientation behavior. You are setting behavior. You set goals based on your behavior. You understand? So, and you're also going by it. Next slide, please. All right. So now, how do you now develop emotional intelligence as a team? If you now find yourself in a team, right? What do? You lead by example. Leading by example, I'm emotionally intelligent. So you should not be found what? Expressing a negative intention or in any outburst, emotional outburst, right? Or encourage open communication. People should be able to communicate freely without being judged. Promote active listening. You understand? This is another skill that people should learn. Some people listen to respond. Some people what? Listen to respond. But some people also listen to understand. Do you understand? They are very are two different things. So promote what? Active listening. When you listen, right? Body language wise, the person you're communicating with already knows that you understand what he's saying, and he will be encouraged to say more. But if you're not listening to the person would what? Will shut himself. Recognize what? Emotions in the workplace. When you see emotions, know that they are valid. Do not judge. Acknowledge them, both positive and negative. Acknowledge that there's a, a negative emotion, and I'm not going to respond. All right. So also provide what? Feedback with empathy. Don't be saying that I'll provide feedback the way it is. Be empathetic. We don't know what the person is actually going through. Next slide, please. Next slide. All right. So we're actually coming to the end of the training. Before I take this, all right, somebody is actually to be a Christian in a fallen world. She said we should avoid emotional outbursts. It will brand you. Thank you so much. Abu David. Some people listen to respond while others listen to understand. Yes. So be the one that listen to understand and also respond to show that you understand the person. You know, there's another thing. It's one thing for you to understand and nod your head, and it's another thing for you to understand and also to communicate to that person to show you understand. So these are actually practical tools and exercises you can use to build your emotional intelligence. So the self-assessment quizzes. There are quizzes that you do. You know, you drop a scenario and you analyze the scenario to test if you're emotionally intelligent. There is also assessment, self-assessment like MBTI. You know, a lot of assessment tools. People use it a lot. I have a coach. I have a colleague in our training academy where I currently work. She takes that, self-assessment test, and she uses it to actually grow herself. Very emotionally intelligent. She's an expert in EQ. You understand? And she's doing, you can hardly see her frowning, always smiling. She built it as time goes on, right? She built that, which is actually very good. There's actually role play in a workplace scenario. You role play, you describe a situation, and you also play it, expressing empathy, expressing positive emotion. There's empathy mapping, there's also journaling emotional. That means you write down emotional on a daily work to observe. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all about practical tools and exercise you can do. You can do it even at home. You can do it with your brothers. So, what are our key takeaways today? Our key takeaway is that emotional intelligence is a critical workplace skill. Very critical. If you don't have it, you may. I'm not trying to be pessimist, but the chance of survival will be minimal, except if you want to work alone. So it can be learned and improved with what? Practice. I also learned along the line sometime. I started with reading articles, and then I started practicalizing, and that was how I was able. I'm not saying that I don't express those emotions like sadness, and they are valid, but the thing is that I'm also very intelligent about it. I don't express it anywhere. It boosts what? Productivity, engagement, and leadership, right? It makes you to be more productive and be more focused. And everyone has what? A role to play in fostering emotional intelligence in workplace. Thank you so much. That will be our takeaway. And in conclusion, emotional intelligence is not just a personal trait. It's a powerful driver to workplace success. When individual team intentionally develop EI, they communicate better, build stronger relationship, adapt to challenge, right? And also perform at higher level. So I'll leave you with this. Emotional intelligence is not optional. It is what? Essential in workplace. Thank you so much, everybody. And if you have any question, you can actually drop your question. Thank you once again. If you're talking, you're muted.
Okay, you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Adana, I can see you, Adana. You're welcome, Adana.
Away from this class is that emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, our emotions alongside that of others.
Yes.
For Mr. Gilbert, can we celebrate? Can we give out our emojis, love emoji, clapping emojis? Can we celebrate it? I'm sure with tonight's section, we are geared up to make a shift in our work life, in our workplace, in our relationships with people in general. And we really do not take this for granted. Thank you so much, sir, for tonight, for your time and for powerful section.
You're welcome.
At this point, if you have a question, can you drop it on the chat box so our guests can help.
You're welcome, Peter Mata.
You have a question. Are we sending our clapping emojis? Okay, I think we have a question here, sir. Says, good evening, sir. I have a question. In a situation whereby the feedback looks insulting, how do you handle it perfectly?
All right, thank you so much. If the feedback is handled what insulting, all right. So remember, emotional intelligence is a positive process, right? It's a positive process, and we also mentioned about what patience. We mentioned about what broadening our perspective about situation. So what you need to do the moment that person actually give you feedback in an insulting way, I will advise you sit down and dissect, pause a little bit, listen to the person while he's talking, dissect the information. So the insulting part, I'll just push it aside and take the feedback that really applies to me. Do you understand? What is important is the information being shared, how useful is going to help me grow. Do you understand? Some people might say insulting thing to test you. They might not mean it. Some people might say insulting things just to test your trigger. Once people know your trigger, what happened? They laugh about it. And someday they will mock you. They say, you got one little thing that I just said. And when you react, somebody will tell you that, oh, I was joking. Just little thing I said. Already they've already gotten to know your what? Your trigger. So what you need to do is just to kind of sit down, broaden your perspective. Do you understand? Broaden your perspective about the information. Pick the relevant one, take the feedback. Forget about it being the insult. If for someone to be bold enough to want to share feedback with you, honestly, that person is trying to help you. Do you understand? So, but me, what I do, I don't take the negative. I don't take whatever, no matter how insulting. There's somebody that let me cite a real life experience that I experienced. Somebody saw me and the lady said, God will judge you people in HR. Do you understand? And I said, what do you mean by that? I just told her, like, I said, what happened? She said she requested for something through somebody, through a vendor, and they delayed her. Do you understand? She said, you guys have just frustrated me. So I took a pause. What I did, I didn't even pay attention to God will judge. The next thing I did, the person that was there that knows the lady better than I am, I asked the person that, please, what do you think about this girl? The person now said, oh, is it because of that thing she mentioned? Oh God, we are used to her. That's how she is. Do you understand? And guess what? After telling her what to do, how to get the letter she requested for, the next day she was playing with me. Sometimes some people pass frustration. It's not all about you. Probably because of the way they feel at that particular moment. So I would advise you broaden your perspective, right? Rather than paying attention to the insults. Thank you so much. Have I answered your question, Linda, Lucia? Sunday, Eco Um, I'm glad to. Oh, good to have you here. Sunday Eco. Apologies if I actually pronounce your name wrongly. And Lucia, I want to confirm from Lucia if I have responded to her question. Say something, Lucia. Okay, can we have other questions while we take Lucia's response much later?
Okay, I
Sunday
think
Oko,
we have
can you tell me
only that
where you're
question.
all right? Can you chat where you're streaming from? Sunday Eco. All right, Lucia, thank you. I've seen your response. You're welcome, Lucia. Sunday Eco. Niger State currently. Well done, Sunday. So, do we have more questions?
Okay, no, we don't have any other questions for tonight. Thank you so much. Once again, I want to say thank you so much, sir, for your time and for.
Oh, Brown Clinton has a question. Go ahead with your question, Brown Clinton. Oh, Duse Alaji Sunday Iko. Okay, fantastic. You're in Abuja with us. So can we have your question, please? Brown Clinton,
You can type
Wilfred.
your question in the chat and we'll read it out.
Clinton, we're waiting. Maybe Clinton is still typing. Okay, so I'm into okay, security consulting and also to interface with government security.
How do we handle this situation? He said, okay, the question says, so I'm into security consulting and most of our job, we interface with government security agencies in resolving conflicts, and there are issues of overlapping sometimes. How do we handle such situations?
All right, so let me get the question straight. So security consulting. So you're a consultant. Are you interface with what government security agencies in resolving conflicts? Okay. So issue of overlapping. So overlapping means there's actually a an eclipse of responsibilities. If I get you correctly, you understand. So obviously, I know there's usually an SLA, right, and also the responsibilities. So what you're going to do is actually to set up a meeting. Set up a meeting. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. You understand. So there's usually an SLA. that states responsibilities. There's no consulting firm without an SLA. So that is actually normal. Sometimes people tend to go beyond their boundaries. So what is happening like in that manner, right? There's a way people address issues. So when there's overlap, somebody will say, this person trying to undermine my authority, and you see them going to say, no, this is my responsibility. Check our SLA. This is and that. So usually there's what we call alignment meeting. Alignment meeting. You call for what? An alignment meeting politely, you understand, and express concern about those misalignments, to say we're just actually going to discuss way forward. Do you understand? That we realize that this is actually fun and it's actually not good for the business. So can we do things this way? Maybe from that meeting, if you have a civil conversation with people like that, when you're done expressing your concern, they might end up coming up with their own reason that you might end up feeling bad about reacting or even being, overreactive. Do you understand? So when you have an alignment meeting like that is, structurally organized, specifically just to handle those issues, before you know it, they will come with their own reason, their own concern, and you guys will align, and everything will go smoothly. So, Brown, please confirm if I've responded to your question. And in your communication, try to be polite. Try to be polite. Try not to be judgmental. Try not to show your frustration. Be professional in your communication. Thank you so much, Brown. I've seen your response. You're welcome, Brown. If you're speaking, you're muted.
No other question. Saying thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful sections, mate. It was a wonderful time having you with us.
You're welcome.
We hope to have more sessions with you like this. Is an enlightening moment.
I'm always available.
Ensure. Okay,
I'm always available.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
All right,
for
thank
the
you so much.
Ensure you sign your attendance as we wrap up the section this night. Thank you for joining in. Do have a blessed night and wonderful week ahead.